Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Roleplay Podcast. We're now season 3, episode 2 of season. I think our total episode count is like you're so dumb. Anyways, we are lucky. We are blessed and in the presence of possibly what many consider the greatest role player ever. As well as Burn and Chatterbox are here joining us as well. See what I did there?
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I guess I'll take my leave then. There's no
the classic. No. I mean, so we got Burn here today. A couple of housekeeping announcements. First of all, we've learned that of people that have watched Roleplay Podcasts, only 1% of them are subscribed to the YouTube, which means that I'm just making this shit up. I don't know. Go subscribe to the YouTube. That's number 1. Number 2, as you will see in the overlay, the Chatterbox U2s is out for pre-order. Chatterbox, why should we pre-order this? Tell us.
Repeat that question. I wasn't listening.
Sell the plush to us, man. Why do I want to buy a half clown, half humanoid plushie? What if I'm terrified of clowns?
Listen,
is that going to comfort me at night?
Listen, no, like if you're terrified of clowns, this is a perfect plushie for you, dude, because you can get it and stick pins in it. All right. So I recommend getting multiple of them, and you could just start sticking pins in it. Okay, I'm sure that's what most people are buying it for.
What, like a voodoo doll?
I'm being told that on the Chatterbox feed of the podcast, Chatterbox
they can hear it. They can hear it now. They can hear it now. Don't worry.
Okay. I by the way, I do this too, where I mute during the starting thing. Like I mute in OBS, and then I can't tell you how many.
Oh, and then you forget. Love that.
Yeah, I do that every single day.
The classic. No. So where can the people pre-order this?
I am gonna get you a link right now because I'm very late and behind in everything I've been doing today.
That's totally fine.
Except for this.
Yeah,
right?
We've kind of been
on time. You guys are kind of on time.
Which is also thanks to joining us on the call as usual is our production, Dimoke.
Oh, hello. Hi, I'm here as usual.
Who has been consistent in now keeping this most recent season. Listen, I don't want to out people, but I'll tell you when the Roleplay Podcast struggled the most with its organization, and that was definitely when Kyle was the co-host. Because Kyle's just not to shit talk Kyle, but because we'll have him on, but it was Kyle's fault. Anyways, so yeah, you guys can.
He's not even here to defend himself. Yeah. That's some drama right there. I'm not taking any part of it.
I'm just gonna. I'll say.
I'll eat the popcorn.
The last Roleplay Podcast we had a little bit of tea. Listen, anyway, we can get into this topic. Burn, I think I actually kind of miss. I'm curious for your thoughts on. I miss some of the drama in roleplay. I miss some of the and granted, I know some of it went to OOC and people actually hating on each other and sending their communities to harass people. But I kind of miss it. It kept things spicy. Thoughts?
It was like the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but RP edition. And to be honest, the moment the drama died, RP Clips GTA, that subreddit died, man. I mean, some of the top posts they get 10 upvotes. I don't know if RP is dead or maybe it's just the drama. I think it literally just became a drama subreddit. And I used to just go on there oh, what's going on today? Because I was pretty, unplugged. So it was great. It was great for me. Get a backseat, the drama. I feel like that's everyone's take on drama is if they're not involved, it's kind of enjoyable, right?
I think there's a healthy middle ground. Chatterbox, what do you think? Because he's ugh.
Bro, drama, ew, gross. No, thank you. I'm good. You know how many drama Reddit posts I've read?
10.
None. I see it.
0?
I see it, and I do not want to know. I just don't want to know.
I've read. No, I'll admit I've read some of that.
Fair.
No, come on, I've read some. Burn, you've read some of that shit. It's good.
Oh, dude, I read it all.
It's good.
I read it all for the most part.
It's teased sometimes. Listen, I do think this. I used to be, and I actually got a lot of this inspiration from Buddha, because Buddha used to just really hard check out of drama and stuff, and just be nope, don't. Chad, don't fucking care. It's a drama. I'm skipping. I'm I think a little bit is good. It's kind of like what Burn said. It's a little bit of the keeping up with the Kardashians. Like, I don't know. I just kind of miss those like early 3.0 days when everyone was in the server and there was just people beefing with each other. It kept it spicy, right? I mean, it does go too. The problem is I have never seen it exist in like the perfect state. It always goes too far. I've never seen it not go too far.
Oh, yeah.
But for the like couple days before it goes too far, I kind of like it.
I agree. I enjoy it.
Anyways, that's quite the intro. We actually forgot our more important intro. Burn, I need to ask you a very serious question, actually. Do you watch the NHL and or hockey?
Okay, starting the timer. 5 minutes.
No, but I did see your thirst trap on Twitter. So does that count?
Okay, let's just jump into the podcast.
No, wait. Let's talk about that, Blau, real fast. Let's talk about that.
Like,
real
why
fast.
was there
I
two
think that
different
counts.
edits? There was one that I saw. I was like, oh, got Dungeons and Dragons on the back of the thing. I love Dungeons and Dragons. And there's hockey. Okay. I don't really watch hockey, but I remember going to a Stars game, and that was pretty sick when I was a kid.
Wait,
And I was like, oh, Blau, that's my boy. Okay.
Wait,
I'll watch him play some hockey. And then there was another. He was like, and then there's another edit. And it got a little bit more spicier. He posted that later. And I think that was on your alt account. I got both on my feed. So, hey, good job, I guess.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm contractually required to post a thirst trap every 2 weeks.
Contractually.
Yeah, I have a deal with the LGBTQ community, specifically with the gays. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically like I'm allowed to be a straight guy and queer bait as long as I post thirst traps. And then they're like, okay, we'll accept this transaction.
This all stemmed from the Psylocke cosplay, didn't it?
Yeah. It started with that, and then the spokespeople reached out to me for the gays, and they're like, okay, we saw what you did here. We'll allow this, but then you have to do this every 2 weeks. So I'm on a contract.
Okay. Big day for the gays then.
Yeah.
And for
Anyways,
thirst traps.
Chatty, congratulations. They're still in it. They're still alive. The timer's still
yes,
going.
that's right. I'm pumped, bro. They won 4-0. Fuck the Dallas Stars. All you Dallas Stars
Okay, time's
fans
up.
in chat,
Time's up.
I know.
Okay, time's up. Back to Roleplay.
Oh my God.
What did we do?
Wait, we have Dallas Stars
We
versus
got the
Winnipeg
best
Jets
merch.
in the. Oh no!
Oh
We got
my
a cool
God.
arena.
Time. T. What do they say in hockey?
Oh,
Time out. Back to Roleplay.
Wait, I didn't realize that. Oh, we have. This is guys. This is the drama I'm talking about. This is
I'm a
good.
Dallas
Bro.
native.
They make
You just
fun of
hate
me,
the
bro.
South?
No, man, I just hate Dallas, Texas hockey team, okay? The Dallas hockey doesn't
Because we're
belong
better
in
than
the
you?
South. Shut up, okay?
Imagine being in the hottest state and having a good hockey team. We literally get like no ice.
All the Canadians are moving there and playing hockey and destroying us here, okay?
Hey, it's a Southern hospitality. Can't say no.
Okay, Dimok,
Okay.
I swear we'll move on, but I will
Okay.
say, though, I did read an interesting article that was basically Canadian hockey players, a lot of them prefer to play for the teams in the States as opposed to Canadian teams because the pressure playing for a Canadian team is so overwhelming. And
Well,
look,
it's not only that. It's better weather and lower taxes.
True.
yeah. I mean, listen, I looked at how like the Toronto Maple Leafs fans are responding to their team's performance. I'm like, dude, I'd rather play for anyone else. Like that sounds awful. That sounds miserable.
Are Canadian hockey teams like the equivalent of like Twitter K-pop stands?
Yes. No. Oh yeah. Oh, dude, it's
Okay.
it's bad.
Okay, time.
Okay, that's actually
Yeah,
time.
okay, move on.
Time.
This ain't the hockey podcast. This is the roleplay podcast, right?
Yes. Thank you, Bern. Thank you.
Yeah. I got you.
Burn, welcome on. It's great to have you.
Great to have me.
You've been actually on before. We've asked you questions before. I have new questions for you this time. Can I start off with a hardball question?
Sure.
Okay, so we're not to like glaze both of you, but I do genuinely. This is the one moment of glazing. I would look at the two of you as probably like. I think a lot of people would agree that the two of you are some of the best role players, or at least some of the most entertaining ones. And one of the reasons being, but it's very different styles. For instance, Chatterbox, you tend to do these much sort of longer, deeper arcs on one character. Burn, you are known for just creating a variety of characters. So my hard-hitting question for you, Burn, is why have you, like, where's the commitment to one character, or why have you never done sort of a more like longer term arc on a character? Is there a reason? Is it just not your style? Does that mean that you have to, just answer the question. What do you think?
Because I hate Grand Theft Auto as a game.
Oh.
I don't like the mechanics of the game and having to build RP around the game itself when I don't have, listen, contrary to popular belief that everyone and their mom thinks I have a dev panel, I do not. I do not have a dev panel. Sometimes I have a pocket dev though. Shout out Sky. But I don't have a dev panel. So that makes things a lot harder for me because I have a lot of like grandiose ideas and some stuff that I want to execute that can't really be executed within the confines of like the game. Like the game itself can be a little restrictive sometimes. And the day-to-day of the game is like, well, we only got theft and auto we could do and a little bit of shit lording. It's hard to do overarching stories that don't involve the day-to-day grind. And I do not like the day-to-day grind of GTA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that burns me out. That's why I usually stick to like shorter, stupid meme characters or whatever. Because I just get burnt out way too fast. I mean I did do one long arc, I guess, which was the Joe Goldberg stuff, which was really fun. But that,
to be fair, critically wasn't very successful. No one thought it was good RP. A lot of people just, no one really looks at that as like a good example. I wouldn't use that as your example, man. I'm kidding.
Hey, Demo, pull up the tweet where Chatterbox said, quoting some person that made a tweet about the Joe Goldberg arc, and it's like, that was absolute cinema. I think I remember seeing that getting glazed on Twitter.
Facts, bro. Facts, bro.
Looking
my
at
dad
it.
was like, have you guys seen this arc? And I'm like, what is the Joe Goldberg arc? And they said, here's a bunch of links. And I sat and I watched the entire thing, and my jaw was on my desk of how fucking awesome it was, dude. It was so good.
So like those types of stories are fun, but it also requires role players that are willing to do those types of stories, which unfortunately nowadays it's a lot of ADHD stimulant, bit to bit to bit to bit to bit to bit to bit. Bits are great, but like that's why I admire a lot of like the people that can do like one single character and expound upon that character and have the patience to keep going with that character, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like Chatterbox, you've been able to explore both sides of, and I feel like you do a very good job, Glaze Alert, of blending like shitlord and serious RP. And I think it takes a very good role player to navigate those situations. It's of yes anding certain things at certain times, right? Maybe there's a serious moment. I got to be serious. I got to lock in.
Yeah.
Oh, we're shitlording. We're, I don't know, freaking driving clown cars into each other, blowing up things. That's funny. Whatever. XDD. You know, having that blend, I think that's kind of the meta right now with GTA is you honestly, if you're going to be playing every day, you have to blend both of those, which I feel like is hard if you're trying to do something more.
It took me time to learn. It did. Like I had
it's
to,
a
like,
whole
kinda
other
learn.
muscle.
Yeah. But like watching other people do it too, like was what helped me, right? Like it's just, when you do it for so long, you kind of start to pick up on things, right? Because like very different. I'm very different the way I roleplay now compared to when I first started, right? Like when I first started, no one fucked with me, right? Now things are, I can have fun with everybody, which is really nice. But like, it took a long time to learn how to kind of get with the groove of how the times of RP are changing, right? Because it's always changing, right? Compared to like, I don't know, did you play it in 2.0 Burn at all?
Yes, I did.
You did?
That's when I first started
didn't.
playing, actually.
See, I played maybe the last 2 weeks of it, right? And then like, I didn't even know what the hell I was doing, right? And then when I started on 3.0, it was like, things are like, you can find RP anywhere. Like there was just stuff happening like crazy, right? And then it started getting, that climax hit, and then it started going like this, right? And I'm like, it's getting more difficult and difficult and difficult to find things to role play around, right? Because like characters were leaving, right? And it was getting more just mechanical, right?
Yeah.
So it's just how do you make that work, right?
Unfortunately, I feel like every server gets to a point where it just becomes gangs and gangs, and civs just get run off the city. And civs are what are the heartbeat of the city. I mean, just think about 3.0 and how good Burger Shot RP was of people just role playing as fast food employees.
Early Burger Shot was.
And not only was it amazing, but it also was a social hub. And for me, doing stupid bit characters, it always gave me a place or a location where it's like I know I can bump into people that actually just want to role play and just fool around. Yeah. Whereas nowadays, it's like everybody's speeding around 110, doing this, and that. I don't know where anyone is. Like, there's just so much things that have changed now. I mean, I guess there's the food court, but I don't think nobody really goes there anymore.
It's pretty dead.
And there's not really, I guess, social events that happen. There was a lot of social events that happened in 3.0, or maybe there's social events now, but people just don't really participate in them. Because I remember there used to be a lot of concerts and stuff. Shout out the old Pier days. I thought the Pier was a wonderful hub in terms of bringing a lot of people together.
Oh, that was with all those booths and stuff there, right?
The Pier was sick.
Yeah.
And then they had the farmer's market, which, I mean, I guess it brought some life to Sandy. But, I mean, the biggest thing was you had Burger Shot and the Pier so close together, so you didn't even need a freaking car. You could just run back and forth.
Yeah. This is something I believe is just like I know that people are always like, oh, I want to bring like role play to like Sandy or to Polito, but I'm always of the opinion that like with the size of the map and the limitations of now people in the server, you actually really need to have a dev restrict, like kind of like think about the map and then literally mark out like the hot spots and like draw lines between them, kind of like what you said, Burger Shot and the Pier, and be like, hey, these are walking distance, and like make it so that there's a very clear central area where there's always going to be people role playing. And if people want to expand out and do stuff elsewhere, that's fine, right? I mean, Chatterbox, you go up and do stuff in Grapeseed, right? But like, I do think they like actually need like a map designer, not to make a new map, but to literally just take the map, take a red marker and like draw out like how they want players to initially move about the city and like where the hot spots are.
Because having those hot spots so close together made that flow of traffic consistent or like constant.
Yeah.
So you're always seeing new people.
Yeah, that was really nice. Like I also liked it, like, you know, like Burger Shot, like you have the main hub, then they had the Burger Shot on the Pier too, right?
Yeah.
So like the employees could just move from the Burger Shot, and then when the market opened, you just send some employees over there, and then you have lineups there and people role playing there too. That was really, really fun. Like yeah, I was really sad when that all like kind of disappeared a bit.
Someone in chat said it is, and it is this. It's actually you need like walkable city planning, but for role play. And then someone said, well, it's hard when the city's based off LA. Okay, pause. Los Santos it's based off LA, but it doesn't. You can walk across Los Santos. You can't walk across LA. Like you can actually walk a lot. Like it's very different. Trust me, when you go to LA, this place is spread out. Anyways, I did have a question for you, Chatterbox, and I'll follow up with a question for you, Burn. From something you said, which was like, when it kind of like, because you started off and said you didn't really know what you were doing. And I am curious for both of you being, you know, again, Glaze Alert. We're going to have a lot of Glaze Alerts on this podcast. But Glaze Alert, you guys are both like very, like no one's ever going to deny that you two are like some of the best. When did roleplay like start to click for you though? Because like it probably wasn't always that way. So like what moments or like parts when you were role playing Chatterbox, what were you like, ooh, I'm like actually starting to get better?
I
know it's hard to like self-glaze, but you know, if you had to.
I started to feel like I was getting better around the time where I met Baza. His handle was Baza Gaza at the time. He kind of pulled me into like Dundee went missing. There was an arc that Dundee like vanished or something. Like I don't really know. I don't really remember what happened to him, but he was gone. And then they needed to find out answers, and they like sent Chatterbox to go kidnap cops and kidnap people for them, because I was really like good at it at that time, like just like finding people and like trying to kidnap them and bring them to places. And that's when I started to kind of learn like the more, oh, this is like they're playing out a story here, right? Like, and I never really done stuff like that before. And there was like some serious talks I was watching, and I'm like, oh. So and then I started to participate a little bit in it, right? And then I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun, right? And like I was like, okay, like, you know, like I was like, I can actually kind of role play. I could do more than just like, you know, just chaotic shit. Like, but I'd still, even at that time, I was like, like, you know, I was whatever. I just kind of went back to SPS for a long time. It was more when the Valkyrie stuff started last year that I was like, this is a lot different than what I'm used to, and it like changed everything for me. Like in terms, because like she was like doing stuff that I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I've never seen something this deep, and I just kind of went with it. And yeah, it was basically 2024 that was like my the year that I actually was like convinced that I can do this in any capacity now. Like I understand how this works. So yeah.
Yeah. And Burn, what about you? I mean, like, because for instance, I feel like Chatterbox, I kind of like saw your glow up. I mean, of role play arcs that I've ever just watched on YouTube. I did joke about the Joe Goldberg one. That is I think it's one of like two I've watched. It's that one, and it was the Raymond Chatterbox arc. So I kind of got to experience that. But Burn, you were always like, I knew you as just like a goat of role play right from the rip. So when did this start for you? When did you really feel like you were good at what you did?
The moment I came out the womb, baby, I was just goated at it. Now, I had some dicey moments back at 2.0. I didn't have prio, and I was in college. And the only time I could get in, because back then it was, I think, a 32 slot server.
Yeah.
I would have to get up at like 2 a.m, right before the 3 a.m. or the AUS reset, just to have a chance to get in. And so I would wake up super early, try to get in, and if I got in, I would role play, and then if I didn't, I would go back to sleep, which was a wild semester. I'm surprised I still managed to live and pass and graduate, because there were some long nights doing some RP in the morning. But that's how I met Dundee, and I remember I was playing just a stupid Civ character named Norm Yoder at the time, and we had like bumped into each other, and he was shitlording as usual. But I remember him. He was saying, "Man, I don't know who this guy is, but he's amazing and he deserves prio. So if anybody is watching right now that can give prio, give it." And somebody was watching that could give prio, and they gave me prio. And then from there, so like honestly, a lot of things came into motion from not only Whippy did that, and then I ran into Space Boy because I was able to get into like the later time slots in like the afternoon, and so I got to meet Mel, and at the time, which was Space Boy's old character, which is now replaced. I mean, rest in peace, Mel. He was OG. Mel. Yeah, but he was a crazy shitlord, and he would mess with my character all the time, and we bonded a lot through that. And he also helped me, I think, get a prio bump from there, and then it became a lot easier. But in terms of like me realizing, like, I guess a glow up or whatever, I hate to mention the Joe Goldberg arc, but I was doing a lot of like stupid bit characters and shitlords, and occasionally did some serious stuff with them. Like I think Sasuke was a good example of doing a lot of shitlord stuff and some serious stuff as well. I think I did a little bit with Johnny, but we'd have some stupid arcs on Sasuke, which was phenomenal, and I do miss it a little bit. But unfortunately, I don't think the server health is at the point where anime characters could run around and RP freely. But I think doing some serious RP and actually taking a shot at that and it doing really well was, I guess, me understanding that, oh, I guess I can. I'm not just a goofy guy. I can be a little bit more serious or tell an actual story. So I guess that I don't know. Oh, the real answer is I role played as a bush one time on April Fool's Day, and people watched that. So I think that was when I realized I could do just about anything. There will always be somebody to watch something stupid.
You role played as a bush?
Yes. Yes, I did.
No way.
The two great.
I wish I got to see that one.
The two great glow ups, the Joe Goldberg Giga Serious arc and the Bush. You know what was cool was and you know, again, glaze alert here, but the Joe Goldberg arc was also just cool because it was really well done, and it was I think there's a lot of serious RP that's not, you know, where it's like serious, like some serious crime stuff going on, or maybe it's like a serious relationship arc, but like that was like a you know, it was relationship-esque, but like it was kind of like a disturbing arc. Like it was like it was psychological horror, which was awesome to see done.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of that required, like I had to do some offline RP. I remember I had like DM'd like Foosley and I think Ray. I was like, hey, is it okay if I am able to stream snipe you just so I can know where you are? because otherwise I'd just be kind of wandering the city. There was a couple moments where I did just kind of bump into them, but I just wanted to create moments. I was like, listen, I don't want to be walking around Los Santos trying to find them. I'm just going to make this a little bit easier. So so I just DM'd. They're like, yeah, go for it. Yeah. So yeah, I did a little bit of third partying. What can I say?
Hey, but
did it
you
create
made
cinema?
awesome with that,
it
though.
did.
Yeah, you did.
I mean,
I was super invested when I watched that, dude. I was like, whoa.
I mean, that also goes to the like. I mean, and this is another sort of topic and question to follow up then with you, Bernard. So you even mentioned, hey, I don't have a dev and stuff like that. I mean, we talked about this a good amount last week, which is yes, the nature of GTA roleplay is improvisational, but like you said, sometimes it is nice to have a little bit of setup, right? So it's like whether it be stream sniping someone just to know where they are so that you're not meta wandering around a city for hours and then maybe you don't even get to that part of the story, or it's a dev spawning in some things that allow for an event to occur. What do you think is like what are your thoughts on like that balance between keeping it improv versus having I wouldn't say scripting, but light guardrails or other sort of things to help certain stories along?
I think as long as it's not providing an unfair advantage for you to progress in the game itself, or if it's purely RP focused and RP oriented, and the entire objective of you using this power or giving you these items is for roleplay, then I think it should be used. But I guess the caveat of it is because not everybody has like a dev menu or a dev pal. You don't get those moments as often, so you end up appreciating the time that people spend when they do get to have those moments, because it makes it more special because it doesn't happen often.
Right.
So I don't know if everybody had a dev panel or more people had dev panels or people had like pocket devs to do stuff, would that take away from the experience? I don't know. But I do think there is a lot more RP that can be created with the help of devs that makes it a lot more special, and kind of breaks the chains of the mechanics of Grand Theft Auto, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I can even give a little bit of insight and I can ask some questions. But as an example, me and Capt have actually talked about this. Weirdly enough, because so Capt and I both have dev panels, and we had events that literally collided on the same day, which was literally just a coincidence. But now we're actually talking about like we have been like, we're mindful of like making sure that because you don't want like every single day there's attack helicopters, RPGs, explosions going on. Like, it's like you need to like space things out. So we've talked about that. And then there's even like of people with dev panels kind of doing it with like a different style. Capt goes for these sort of much more kind of long-term serious like arcs that are all kind of connected with what he does with his events, whereas mine are much more sort of one-off kind of sporadic things. So yeah, I think it's I do think it could go too far, but I think it's a balance. I don't think we've reached it yet. I don't think it's been too far yet.
I think it comes down to I guess calling them event devs. I feel like we had a lot in 3.0, a lot of events that were going on, and they were kind of spaced out and scheduled, and some like thematic that helped bring, I guess, RP hubs, but also create like storylines and stuff, which I found very fun and enticing. I don't even know if do we have an event dev on NoPixel, or I guess you and Capt are now, because you guys are creating events for people.
It literally just seems like it's kind of Blau and Capt right now, because there's really like outside of that, like correct me if I'm wrong, Blau, like I haven't really seen much going on like in terms of like big events.
I mean, like so Buddha, while he is roleplay, Buddha will also use his. Weirdly enough, Buddha used his to then like troll me while I was doing my shit, it was actually really cool how he did it. He basically stalked me and then called the cops on Mickey when Mickey was like investigating the vault, and then unlocked doors for me while I was like in the vault. It was really cool. I only learned about it later, but I think there's also the difference between I feel like in 3.0 those like big events that we remember actually required kind of like dev resources. Like if you guys remember like Squid Game was awesome. And I wish we would do more things like that, but that actually is really intensive. Like that requires that actually requires like development work. When we say like dev events and it's me and Capped, like I'm going to be so honest, that takes me like 1 hour off stream with Dimoke, like dumping Dimoke into the ocean like multiple times in various vehicles that I'm trying to figure out how to spawn in. And it's not really that deep to like set those up. Whereas something like Squid Game is actually a lot of work. So they are.
Oh no, that stuff was amazing though.
That looked like such a cool thing. I was watching it and I was like the way the devs designed that, I was like, this is the fucking show. Like it's just they nailed it, bro. It was such a cool thing.
Yeah, and I think another thing that helps is when people with like the admin panels or dev panels, whatever you want, when they also like just alley-oop someone, and it's almost like, you know what it is? It's like just as we yes and in RP, it's kind of like yes anding with like resources and dev panels. Like when Chatterbox, a great example is like when you hit me up like, hey, like can we just get some extra guns for this thing that's going on? I'm like, it's sort of one of those like, yeah, sure. I'm not like gonna in my mind, I'm not thinking Chatterbox is going to use these guns to propel the clowns to be the most dominant gang and take over the gun scene and clap every other gang in a war. It's like, no, you guys are going to use them in this conflict. You're probably going to all get shot and the cops are going to take them.
We lost all of them.
And it's going to make that little thing a little bit more cinema, right? So I think it's also considering things like that and being able to just, I don't know, kind of move fast and break things is sort of the approach.
I'll have Blau, like, we shot the mimes and the whole PD showed up and the clowns wiped the PD, bro. It did happen, but we still lost all the guns because we're stupid.
Okay, I watched you during the helicopter heist. I watched you shoot. Like, listen,
terrible.
You can role play my brother in Christ just like 30 minutes a day in aim labs, and we'll
no, I won't.
Listen, you can't have everything. All right, it's a way to keep us humble. I can't drive. I can't drive in that game. It's quite evident. I am garbage when you put me behind the wheel.
So
that's just how it is.
So then, Burn, another question to you. If not GTA, what are some of the games or experiences that you really like for role play that you wish people maybe play? Because I know one of the reasons you probably do GTA is even if you don't like the mechanic, it's the one that most of the viewers watch, right? And most people are interested in. But what are some experiences that you wish were bigger that you think are better for RP or that you just like more?
Hands down, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
It's a lot of prep work and it is very intimidating, but it is so rewarding and it's so much fun. And I feel like there's so many gifted role players that play GTA that would absolutely thrive. And I mean, we got to see an example of that back in the He Who Shall Not Be Named days. Arcadum. Back when Arcadum did D&D, he got a bunch of GTA role players on. He had me, Milton, Kiwo, and Sock in a group, and it was freaking amazing. Had a blast. And then he got canceled. So, but yeah, he would like. I just feel like the collaborative experiences, the collaboration. I like to do voices, so voice work is there, and then the yes-anding, improvisation, and role play is also there. It encompasses everything, and I feel like that's the closest thing I'll get until, I don't know. I feel like nobody really does Red Dead. Cyberpunk probably never gonna have an RP server, and maybe GTA 6 when that comes out. But I really feel like D&D is the closest thing I'll get to any sort of role play, like fulfillment and role play, because there's no other games that kind of satiate that appetite, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I used to role play in the Arma days, and it's you go back to that now, you'd be like, oh, what is this?
I was gonna ask, have you ever done Red Dead RP? What are your thoughts on that?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did Red Dead RP a long time ago. I actually ran into Dimoke's characters. They were great. The old man and was it Timmy and Tommy?
Yeah.
It was you and Disby, you guys are freaking amazing. But yeah, no, it was really good, but very, very slow burn and a lot of egos. So
Yeah.
A lot of egos.
Yes, there were a
Mind
lot
you,
of.
I've never played, so I don't like. Why is it?
Really?
Can you fill me in a little bit on that?
Yeah,
I'm
let's
kind of
dive into egos in Red Dead Roleplay.
Well, I felt that when you are a GTA RP refugee going into Red Dead, they immediately thought you were below them, and it felt obvious in several interactions I had, and then I've had like conversations with people, and like, oh, we'll see about that. Like, oh, you're just gonna shitlord and you're not gonna do any sort of serious story. I was like, okay. And then I also heard there was like a lot of drama with some of the higher ups. I don't know if that's changed or not, but there was, I guess, some like power dynamics and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of egos, but I felt like there were actual characters playing Red Dead. Like I actually felt way more immersed playing that than GTA. But yeah, that's about it. There was just a couple egos here and there, but I feel like there's egos everywhere you go.
Yeah, it's interesting to say because it's like I feel like I more often run into egos in GTA because like there's just the reality that a lot of GTA is like kind of self-inserty where it's self-inserty is like, hey, this is me as a criminal gangster, and it's like kind of just the same person. And so it's like you feel like when you're criticized or like when you're shit talking that character, you're kind of shit talking the person, and like or they feel it that way, and it's like it just gets kind of tricky. Whereas like in Red Dead, it's like I mean, hopefully no one's like a 1899 gunslinger IRL, like what I mean. It's like it almost forces you to be more of a like separate from yourself, right? And I say this, with you, I think you two are very like clear examples of people who do play characters in GTA roleplay.
Yeah, I think having a different timeline definitely helps you get more immersed because we're not. I mean, contrary to popular belief of how Texans live their lives, we don't go on horseback everywhere. So I guess that kind of helps. Also, it's a newer game. It's a big map as well. A lot of good hubs. But also the traveling was a pain in that game. Like at least in GTA, you could go from A to B pretty fast.
Yeah.
But in Red Dead, there is so much downtime in traveling sometimes. And I feel like for like a watcher's experience, that's a bit rough,
Theo and Mungo, I remember both of them, they went to Red Dead because they wanted to try it. And they both played for, I think, a weekend. And then come the Monday, I talked to Theo. I said, how was it? And he goes, I'll tell you what, bub, I don't think I'm ever going back. I'm like, why not? He goes, I spent more time down in the forest than I did actually playing the game.
Oh, that's so true. When you go down in that game, it is, depending on where you go down, it could be a nightmare. I remember getting attacked by a legion of wolves and these people just like rode right past me. I freaking die. And I'm just laying there for like an hour and a half until somebody comes on the trail. And luckily they take me into town, but then you have to go through the whole medical process. And that even takes a while. And I feel so bad because I feel like if you think medic RP in GTA is bad, you should see it in Red Dead because everyone is already so impatient from being down for so long and they just want to get up and you still want to try to enable them with some RP, but even me, I'm like sometimes I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, if even you're like this is too long. Well, so one thing I've always wondered then, so for something like Red Dead, why not like if someone wants to role play as a doctor, why not just have them role play as like do the role play of the doctor and like let the mechanics of if you get downed, like you're just down for a little bit. It's like then you just are like back in the city and then maybe you lose some stuff, you forget things. But it's like let you like keep playing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know why. I think
there was a hold E to respawn or whatever, similar to GTA. Like if you get ocean dumped, right? Is that what you're kind of suggesting?
Yeah,
so you could like wake up in a hospital.
Yeah, there is nothing like that in Red Dead. Apparently, like you have to wait for if there is a medic, you have to wait. And if you're in a certain spot, that they got to jump on that horse and go get you, take you back to the medical place, and then you got to wait for a fucking doctor, which could take super long. I heard the entire thing of it, and I was like, I don't know if I can handle it because I got like really bad like ADHD. Like I gotta be doing stuff. Like I can't be waiting that long. I lose my mind, and that's the one thing that turned me off with Red Dead because I can't wait that long. Like in GTA, like even waiting for that 5 minutes if there is no EMS, I'm like, I just want to talk to somebody. Like I just want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's funny. I think the other thing I was gonna comment that you said, Bern, about like riding around and how long that takes. It's really funny because I think Cronus in the chat, if it's the Cronus I think it is actually the guy who I Donawalled and was supposed to message about this. But okay, just like you talked about I actually think a underrated thing that someone should do. Sorry, Cronus, that I Donawalled you. Well, okay, he Donawalled me first, but long story short, I was supposed to message him about a Red Dead idea. I think just like in GTA, there needs to be someone on these server teams that literally opens up a map, literally with pen and paper, and draws how you want players to move about the maps. Because that has been an issue in GTA, and I think it's a bigger issue in Red Dead because of how big the map is. Anyways, my quick hot take solution to it is you basically just block off like 2/3 of the map every season in Red Dead. Like you have a server that for one season, whether it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, is the central area with Valentine, and then like maybe the like southwest area, and that's it. And then 2 months later, it's the central area in Valentine, and then the north and the snow. 2 months later, it's the central area and Saint Denis. And you role played as like, hey, there's a plague in Saint Denis, there's a snowstorm up north, but that way you basically isolate people to much less of the map because I just think the map is too big. And also people don't go to the map. Again, you could do something similar in GTA. I think GTA's biggest issue is you need to look at literally the city of Los Santos and map out where your hubs are. Like you said, Burger Shot to Dean's World or the pier was perfect. I loved that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a follow-up question now for you, Chatterbox, which is, have you ever done Red Dead roleplay?
No, I was going to, and then I had problems with the VoIP. I guess you needed like something called Salty Chat or whatever in TeamSpeak, and it wasn't working. And I couldn't figure it out. If I was able to figure that whatever the issue was out at the time, I was gonna give it a try. This was like a couple of months ago, but I've never actually tried it yet. No, we still have plans to do it. Just when, I don't know. I don't really have much of a drive just because of off things we've talked about, right? Like I am pretty bad with like very slow paced stuff because I do like I just want to always be doing something, right? And I know the Red Dead population, a lot of the servers is very low, right? I like very populated places. I like to run into people all the time, right? And you can't always do that in Red Dead. So it's the very slow pace is what hurts me a little bit, right? Don't get me wrong, I love the immersion and stuff like that, but like there's a line for me that I have. I'm like, there needs to be a little bit more than a little bit more people, so I could just keep bouncing around, like, and just getting into new things. Red Dead is tough to do that. So, no, and it's nothing against Red Dead, but it's just me.
If you were to do Red Dead, what kind of character would you play?
Oh, you ever see Spaceboy play Red Dead?
No.
You ever see him play? Dude, it was the funniest thing I've ever watched, and it'd be something similar to that. He went over there and did SBS, but it was like really funny. Like it was like he played James Randall, but he was just James was just like it was an old time James, but this dementia was bad, right? So he was just walking up and he was walking up and down. I don't know what the town's name is, but walking up and down, screaming for somebody named Abner, right? And Abner was like like some other like character around there, and he was looking to kill him, right? And people just kept coming up to him like, "What are you screaming about?" He goes, "I'm looking for Abner," but he just kept going around doing that, and it was so funny, dude, because people were like really like actually into it because it was really funny. And I was like, okay, if this guy can make Red Dead fun, I'm like, I can learn a thing or two off of that. But it'd be something like that, right?
Dimok, didn't you did you ever get in trouble for like being a little too like kind of jokey in Red Dead? Sorry if
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That
story
old
time
man.
from production.
Yeah, my old man character was a little too jokey, and I think funnily enough, one of the time I actually got talked to about it was with James Randall, or Space Boy's character. I think his name's James Randall, because he was doing the Abner bit, and it got into this whole thing where there was a bunch of us like there helping him try to find Abner, and then it escalated to like violence, like we all started like punching each other, of course, right? And then like got into this huge brawl in the streets and whatever. And I remember they were so upset because they couldn't at the time they just didn't understand like what the whole finding Abner was, why our characters escalated to violence or whatever so quickly and whatnot. And I was like trying to like explain the bits, and it just was not like getting through or whatever. But yeah, there was several times on that character where I had to tone things back because Wild as a server just in general, wants a more serious environment. So it's kind of like, making sure you adapt to the rules that they set too. Uh, and I'm a kind of role player who likes to add a lot of comedy to the role play. So yeah, there was times where I stepped out of line and I had to tone it
Listen,
back. But
Wild could have really went somewhere if they would just like lifted not being so strict on all that stuff, right? They could have really had a bigger player base. In my opinion, because there you should always have some room for both of those things, right? Because then you have your player base grows. It's such a big map, and you can have all sorts of things everywhere on a big map like that. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's also like the nature of these games, whether it be GTA or even Red Dead, right? There's literally a character in Red Dead that you keep running into, the guy that keeps yelling for his friend Gavin, like trying to find his friend Gavin. Like there's crazy psychopaths in Red Dead, and there's comedic moments too. So yeah, I think it's like allowing like a little bit of room for all of that. Yeah, that I did not know that I didn't know that it was related to Space Boy's character.
yeah, that was one of them. Yeah.
I think the only devil's advocate here is when people don't know when they're playing shitlords, they're oblivious to when serious roleplay is going down, and they end up ruining it. And these people are spending days upon weeks, especially in Red Dead. God, freaking novels of time working towards building a specific moment. And imagine you spend all that time working on that, and then some guy just comes over and farts on you and just kills you, or gets in a street brawl, and you're like,
Yeah,
this is going to be my like magnum opus,
That all comes down to like
it's reading the room.
To read that room. Yeah, like that's you're supposed to do that anywhere you go. You just kind of read the environment a little bit. Like, is this the right time for this shit? And if it's not, just go do it with somebody else, right? Yeah, a lot of people have a hard time with that too. So, but you're absolutely right.
All right, this does bring me in. This is what a good segue, by the way, Burn, because it's brought me into one of my other questions. Burn, we had some goats of roleplay here, Chad. This is a new segment for the Roleplay Podcast. I'm calling your roleplay icks. Burn, I want to know. Give me your hot take. What are the roleplay icks where it's like when this shit happens in roleplay, you're like, ooh. So again, like you said, some guy, you're trying to do a serious scene, some guy goes and like downs you first. So you're like, what are some like? They don't have to be like specific moments. You just generalize it. Like, what are some like icks where you're just like,
God, there was this one time, I think I was playing Sasuke, and this hardcore gangster from the South Side, I don't even remember his name. He probably got banned. He came up to me, and I was just like, "You're a pathetic loser." And I was just like monologuing to him, and he's like, it just blapped me in the head. He just headshot me, robbed me, and just like ran away. Like there was no yes-anding at all. It was just take my stuff and leave. There was also the biggest ick I've ever gotten, and a lot of people don't know this. I roleplayed as Bully Maguire as a bit, and I got like a bunch of sound bites from Spider-Man 3, and I just recreated Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man 3 with the Venom symbiote, and I was like, put some dirt in your eye and stuff, like saying aggressive lines towards people. These people hated it. There's like a group of them. They hated it, and they were openly saying they were going to report me, and they were going to dump me, and they literally drove me to a beach and killed me. And they made a report on the NoPixel forums. The only time I ever got reported was because I was doing freaking Bully Maguire RP of all things. I was just like, I don't know what makes it, like, I guess just big egos or something, but like, I don't know how you lose your mental that hard over a bit. Like, just chill out, man.
That's wild.
You know, I think a lot of people that just don't. I mean, like, if you're not, I get it. Some people just don't want to shitlord or don't want to deal with some of the characters, and that's fine. But just like unplug for the situation. Don't just shoot it down, literally. You know. So that was a big ick. Another one is grinding. Anything mechanically with that game, I cannot do it. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I have a trouble playing any sort of long con character, because you're going to end up grinding in some capacity, especially if you're wanting to create RP. If you're starting a gang or something, you got to grind for materials, grind for guns, and then you do a war. It's like, I don't care. You know, I don't come on to log in to clock into a 9 to 5 of grinding and not interacting with people, or just interacting with my buddies, and that's it. And I feel like that is usually what ends up coming to a server is people find their people, they find their cliques, they find their gang, and they just focus on role playing with their gang and focusing on what can we do for the gang, which is great. You have people to role play with, that's awesome. But then nobody expounds upon it unless there's conflict. And then even then, people don't even like conflict.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, listen, Blau, remember Roleplay Podcast, you know, last time, and you had me on there, and then I was like, hey, like, I'm going to make some predictions here if this, and this don't happen. You know, I'm not a cocky guy, but I was right on everything I said that when you had me on your podcast the first time. Everything I said happened, and I was pissed off that I was right, okay? Because what he is saying is, like, bringing me to oh, my God, man. The grinding is such bullshit, and it turns all the civs are gone because the gangs took over everything, and it's just, let's have money printers everywhere to expand your gang RP. Now there's no civs. It's just gang versus PD now, and it sucks ass because it's just a complete grind fest now.
Oh, well, that's all it is. I'm not. Listen, I would have to rewatch that podcast episode to see if I disagreed with you, but I think I would probably agree with a lot of these points. I mean, like, even in 4.0, like the whole pride of my character Mickey is I don't have any rep at any of the. I literally have no rep on the character because I've never worked. I think the only time I've worked Mickey worked one day at Senior Buns, and it was in the last 2 weeks and me and Dimo did it. It was called Senior Guns, and we would try to sell guns at Senior Buns. But nice. And we did it for one day, and that's probably like the max rep I have on the character. No, like I get it. Do you think that there needs to be, though, like, how do you balance that aspect of it, which is the need for this sort of just pure role play, no mechanics based, just yes-anding, rolling with it, versus, like, because there's that aspect of role play or at least of NoPixel, and then there is this other aspect which, to put it frankly, is just, it's an MMO, right? How do you balance those?
Well, unfortunately, it comes to the base of the game. It is Grand Theft Auto at the end of the day, and a lot of the mechanics are going to be built around Grand Theft and Auto, which is not very appealing to civs. So as much as civs may try to, survive, they end up just becoming hostage RP, because at the end of the day, everybody's just wanting to Grand Theft Auto, and the game and the servers are built around that, because unfortunately, those are the easiest mechanics to work off of and build upon and expand upon. There's not enough, like, engaging civ content that can be made, or maybe it just takes more thought.
There's things you can try, though, like the server itself, like management can try to do. Like, they try all these other things, right, for gangs and all this stuff. But if they would put the amount of effort and thought into more of the civ side of things, they just, not saying that this would work, but you know how, like, G6, if you have a felony, you can't do it, right? Stuff like that. In my opinion, all the jobs that they have, they can reduce the amount of grinding it is and up the benefit from it to make money easier, right? But you restrict it. If you are a criminal, you can't do any of these jobs, and you by no means are allowed to own a food joint or stuff like that. Because I think the amount of food joints that you're allowed to have is way too many, right? That all those things should be strictly Civ stuff. If you want to be in a gang, you have your gang mechanics, your means to make money, and that is your criminal stuff, right? You shouldn't be allowed to do any of like the legal activities and stuff like that. You make the choice to go do your gang shit, whatever. You shouldn't be allowed to own any of these restaurants. That should all be Civ stuff. But also putting stuff in, like I always say that I say this every time. The news, right? There should be more money coming in if you want to work the news, and there should be a rule that cops have to give roleplay to people working the news, and only Civs can do that. You have to I think running a server, you need to push a lot of stuff to your civilians and not as much focus on the gangs, because gangs are gonna get their shit. They're gonna do their stuff no matter how much it is. If they got a little bit to do or a lot to do, they're gonna do the same shit every time. That's just the reality of it, right? But they kill everything else by owning everything, buying everything up, right? Buying buying up all the restaurants and stuff like that, and holding it down. They're always closed. They just run and open it, get some food, and they fucking bounce, right? That shouldn't be a thing. They should have to go through the motions to role play with people to get their stuff, right? But not get it on their own, right? They shouldn't be allowed to do sanitation. I'm going to grind all these materials and stuff like that. No, you should role play to get your materials. You can get your money some way, but if you want to get those materials, you got to go do some role play. If you don't want to do it, why are you on NoPixel, bro? Isn't NoPixel like NoPixel was at one time like the server to go see characters and get role play, right? If they want to keep that firm hand that they used to have, like those expectations, they could really change things, right? They got lenient, very lenient to a lot of things, right? It shouldn't be like that. NoPixel had a really crazy, awesome rep. They could bring that back, but they need to have a firm hand with how people are, what the expectation as you as a role player is, right? We all filled out that application to prove that we could role play, right? So it wasn't an easy application back when I did. It was like these big questions that you had to like put some effort into, right?
My first app got declined, by the way.
Right? Like,
hey, chat there. Hey, for any aspiring role players in the chat or anywhere else, there you guys go. Burn himself was once declined. So
I got two things to say off of what you're saying.
First
off, it also bleeds into an ick.
Burn, before you do, I just want to briefly say, Burn had his application denied. I didn't have to apply. And that's why one of us is the goat of roleplay and one of us is not. Anyways, continue.
Exactly. Because some people have to work hard to get what they get. It's called earning it. You don't just get you got the participation trophy. I actually got the first place gold medal. Okay. All right, so sit on the bench, punk. Now back to my two things, which one of them ends up being a little bit of an ick. News RP used to be such a freaking hub, and it used to be so amazing. Shout out freaking Ron Otterman. Love that guy.
God, yes.
Great RP, great conflict RP. You know what killed it? PD and gangs, man. PD would, I guess there was like laws or something, but I swear every time news would try to come in and do something cool, they would be like, you can't be here. Yeah. It's like, what? I'm literally the news. Oh, it's you're risking your life. I'm risking my life for a story. It's my job. I don't care if it's MVL. It's going to create RP. And it creates a whole new dynamic for the scene itself. And it creates RP for the cops. You know, they got to gather evidence and stuff. Imagine doing freaking street interviews. Like, I feel like news RP is like the best Civ RP that could really flourish right now when gang and PD RP are at its height, or like there's so much chaos going on and it's dead. And also they had the entire news station hub. You've got the studio room. You've got the second floor offices. There's so much like cool Civ RP you could do, but it requires multiple people. If you had like 10 plus people that are down with the bit and they're down to ride it out, I think you could create amazing RP. And the problem is a lot of Civ RPers are alone. They don't have a group of people that they can just hit up and be like, hey, you want to do this? You know, and before,
it's a small group of one or two.
And before with
them, it's too hard for them right now. Like it's been like very tough for people to do that because they're always getting shit on or getting denied, like you're saying, right? Like why would they do it if they're just gonna get denied RP all the time, right? How are you gonna build a team like that?
Or they just get killed. So it's like there needs to be. I mean, like in a perfect world, there would probably be like some sort of like journalist protection where it's like, if you see a journalist, you can't kill them unless there is like a strict reason to, or something. There has to be some sort of like protective laws in place within Los Santos.
Just because they put a story out or they caught you on camera doing something illegal and you didn't take the right steps to protect yourself, right? Or you brought your personal car and the news got your license plate number. We're gonna go kill the news for a week, right? That stuff like that should never be allowed because that's what it always turns into, right? This guy got me in trouble. Our gang is gonna fuck with all the news for like a month, right? Kills it.
Yeah,
right?
there's
Like,
almost like this
that comes back to having that firm hand of like management got to step in and be like, you're gonna do that, you're out of here. Like you can't do that.
I think it's like, yeah, management needs to step in to create the vibes and the immersive scenes, not what I think Burn you described, which is basically this cops and robbers game loop. Like, and a lot of people I feel like optimize for that. So on the cop side, they're like, news interfering with this thing, third party, this not good, stay away. You know, we're trying to focus on the chase and this cop thing, right? And then Chatterbox, to your point, the Crims are like, oh my God, I'm a hardcore gangster and I don't fuck with my ops. And I carry a class 2 on my back. And you filmed me with a class 2 on my back, I have to ocean dump you, right? Like, it's like, no, like, let's not do that. Let's role play a living, breathing city. And let's role play that person as a and like, let's think about how we can integrate them into the story as opposed to cutting them out. I think
they got to bring back these expectations of like, you're here to role play and not it's role play. Like that's what you applied to do, right? Let's go look at your application again. Why is your application so good, and why are you doing this, right? Like, just because you get in, right? You should never be too comfortable. Like that, and that also goes back to my whole priority thing. Like, if you have a few people in the server active as fuck that actually play, that management know are not just gonna you're not just gonna give it out to your friends, right? To go and you go and experience everything, and people are losing prior or getting their prior bumped and stuff like that. People are so comfortable that I got prior now, I can do whatever the fuck I want, right? I don't have to put all this effort anymore because ain't nobody's scared that their prior is gonna be going down, right? Because nobody's actively gauging that anymore, right? If that was always on the line, people would think more. People would be like, I got to role play. Like, I can't just like go around and just talk like Squidward at fucking the Krusty's Krab all the time, right? Like, if you're not role playing, why is your priority level so high, right? It should go down, and it should give room for people that are actually engaged and want to do stuff to come up, right? My opinion.
I didn't finish my second thing.
Oh, second thing.
Yes. So the first thing was about the news stuff. The second thing was, I feel like if criminals got caught, sometimes they get a prison sentence, or they can go to parole. Why is there not a community service sentencing? Like, imagine if they forced gangsters, if they got caught, instead of going to prison, they had to do community service, and they had to do like Civ RP for 30 minutes to an hour, and it actually like teleported them to that hub, and they have to like. I mean, unfortunately, there's probably gonna be a lot of them that are just gonna grind it out and not say anything, but at least it creates an opportunity to have like an area that flourishes in Civ RP, because it's forcing them to do that so that they can be free again. Because on parole you can't do crime, but a lot of them end up doing crime anyways, and it come stack the sentence. I really feel like if they did that, and then like every week it changed. I mean, if you have several different Civ hubs, be like, it's Burger Shot this week. If you get sentenced to prison, you have to go to Burger Shot and serve there for an hour or something.
Kind of is that. There kind of is that.
Oh,
right
there
now.
is now? Okay.
Well, the DOC can take the prisoners out and do these things. But the problem that the problem that the server's having right now is like when Carmine was involved and Bobby, right? They're pretty SBS, right? But and Scotty, like when Scotty was running it, Scotty Bard, which was probably the best DOC I've ever experienced in my entire ever in role playing. I was in prison for a couple of murders. Like, I was in there for like a month. I logged on every day and played on there for 9 hours straight and had a great time because prison was awesome. Guards were fun, right? But they would take people out, right, and do stuff. One time, I remember if this was Carmine's prison or Scotty's prison, but one time somebody got broken out, right? A gang member got rescued during that whole thing. And then the warden got fired. And it's just like, now they don't want to do it anymore because you get fired because somebody escaped. Who gives a fuck if the guy escaped? Big deal. The cops have to do their RP job and go find them. Who cares? But that's what's ruining it, right? Is like, characters are actually trying to go and do stuff. Then somebody escapes, which is gonna happen. That's the whole point, right? You're on parole. If you're out, the risk of having a prisoner out doing something is the risk of them getting rescued. Okay. So they got rescued. Why should the DOC get in trouble for that? it's shit that happens. You know what I mean? It's part of role play. Now they want to fire that guy. It discourages the DOC now. Now they don't want to do it, right? In my opinion, I don't believe in that they should get spawned into a parole, like to do that. I actually think it'd be more engaging for the DOC to take people out and do things at a scheduled time. But if you have a high risk, like if you're in a gang and you're high risk of getting rescued, right? And if it's happened before, they shouldn't be allowed to go. They got to stay in the prison, right? That's your consequence. You know what I mean? There's so many things, right? It's to reduce the mechanic of having them spawn into something, but giving more for role players to actually engage with each other and go put them on that bus and take them somewhere to go do a task. It was just recently we blew up a stall inside of Senior Buns, and the DOC brought all the prisoners to come clean it up. I remember when we were leaving, a bus pulled up and all the prisoners walked in to go clean it. It was actually awesome to see that. You know what I mean? And I don't think there was any problems that time, right? But it doesn't happen often, right? But there needs to be less punishment for, the firings and stuff like that need to stop. And cops have it really bad right now too with that, Burn. Like a lot of good cops have all left, and this is recent. I'm not going to get into too many details, but I was really salty because one really good character cop left recently just because of the fear of I can't do specific things because I'm just going to get fired. And all the cops that are super serious and don't roll with things are always safe because they're really good at their job. Why should the guy that's really good at their job be better than the guy that's there to role play and take L's just for, just saying yes to a lot of things to make a scene more interesting, right? That guy's going to get fired over the guy that's going to be like, no, I'm not rolling with this. Fuck you. You're getting shot, right?
The problem is
a real big problem too.
The problem is people view role play as entertainment. And so they're just going to think, oh, you're just content brained. So you're doing this for content. When, it kind of goes hand in hand. Role play does create content. But at the same time, I feel like people are going to enjoy the situations more if there's role play created from it. But unfortunately, a lot of people are like, oh, you just got content rot. So you're not treating your role seriously enough.
Yeah. My cop got fired too. Clay Kona got fired for drinking on the job. But again, it's like, and what I think, and I was actually fine with it because like, I actually, there's like, then maybe there's an arc to get him rehired. But I think what I didn't like about it was like the chats and the vibe of it were more like, it was more like, what is Blau doing? Why is he like getting his cop fired? Like, why is it? And it was like, no, dude, it's the character. Like, it's Clay Kona. Of course he's drinking whiskey right now. Of course he thinks that drinking 2 shots of whiskey before his shift is normal because that's what they did down south, right? Like, he doesn't think that it's like, it's like, I think that's what annoyed me is like when cops or someone who's like, role playing is like a Warner saying when they get fired, when it's like, bro, they're just trying to like do a character. Like we can give them a little bit more leeway because they're just trying to like create something different and not, following a strict list of rules and SOPs to play optimally,
Well, Bern, can I hear your opinion on this? Because this goes right with how Blau got fired for, taking takes a couple of shots for his shift, right?
By the way, to be fair, I actually do like how they fired Clay, and I think it's very much like he can get rehired. But
yeah. My opinion, right, is why just go straight to we're firing you because of this, right? There's other ways you can punish without just going, you're fired. See you later. What I've always wanted to see was right now NoPixel has those toll booths, right? That nobody uses, right? But if you put DUI checkpoints on the main highways in the tunnel that goes from Grapeseed to Polito, right? In there. So you can't turn around and take off, right? You got to go through that, right? You got to have your punishment now because you fucked up, right? This cop was goofing around too much. You messed up. You got to do 12 hours in that DUI checkpoint. All you can do is stay there, and you guys gotta check people. You gotta do RP and check people for your entire time. You're not allowed to go back on active duty until you complete those hours at that booth, right? So now you're being forced to stay in one location and do that, but you have to role play with people, right? Because people are gonna come through there, right? But the server also needs to have like kind of a rule that you can't kidnap you know, the people working those booths, because that would happen all the time, right? You can't kidnap them or whatever, right? But if they flee the booth, you can't chase them. All you have to write a warrant and stuff like that. You got to do that, right? But
Mhm.
it's just it's more it's not making them sit and wait till they get rehired or go through a 2-week suspension and just not, I'm not going to play. You know, I'm suspended for 2 weeks, right? But you got to go role play over here and this is your punishment. You can still make something out of it, right? You're still encouraging role play. They're still got to do something, but they're still technically being punished, right? They're not
100
just getting straight up fired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that Blau's character wasn't offered like AA meetings because I feel like that'd be hilarious.
Dude. Yeah,
And getting updates, like your
Yeah.
punishment is you have to go through like 3 AA meetings, and on the last one you have the freaking chief of police or whoever was gonna fire you sit in one of those meetings, or maybe they kind of like test you. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna go partying. You want to come with us, Clay?" Like, just see if it's changing, and then you have that character struggle of like, is it actually working? Am I gonna fall back? You know, I definitely feel like there are options. There are different routes to go, just like how you mentioned, Chatter. Than just straight up firing someone or suspending someone. But
yeah, I was a little shocked that it was like, it's like I knew I was going to get I knew I was going to get punished, and it's like when I met with the chief of police, and I brought him a whiskey bottle as a gift because I was shit talking him on the radio, so I brought him a whiskey bottle because that's what Clay does, right? You know, he brings a bottle of Johnny Walker Black, you know, to get the boys feeling good, right? Like that's what he does. And so it's like, I'm obviously not playing the character optimally, but yeah, like let me do the checkpoints. Let me do AA would have been so funny, but instead it's like, now that he's fired, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go play one of my other characters now, right? Like I don't really know if I'll come back to him in 4.0 now, because and I think it's the same with like what you talked about for like the prison stuff, where it's like, I feel like instead of just taking things away from people or something like that, it's like it is that like, yeah, punish them with good role play.
Yeah.
Like, give them a good role play opportunity.
I think the moment you have to sacrifice a character trait or something imperative to your character, you've already lost the game. And I think there's ways that, like, I think you can do stupid stuff or be dedicated to your character, but you also have to be willing to take the repercussions for these character flaws, right? But there should be options to deal with these flaws. And I feel like there's the biggest thing is the lack of options. I think it's important to have creative vices and virtues because that's what makes a character. But the problem is a lot of people, like I think what Chatter was mentioning, is like some people being afraid of losing their job. So it's like they end up having to sacrifice who they are for a sense of keeping their character there, which then they're not really even being their character at that point because they had to sacrifice like a huge chunk of them or a part of them, and it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's just like Carmine gets in trouble all the time because he's always instigating and doing bad things, right? He's always
Carmine.
getting people into trouble.
Love that character.
Yeah, he's great, right? But I will admit, okay, he can. I'm sure he's pretty. It can be pretty annoying when you're always getting called. You as a cop, you're getting called to a situation because Carmine escalated something, right? But listen, that's who he is, right? That's his character, and it's really funny, right? But that just goes to say, okay, you're not fired. You're sorry, Carmine. You're going to do this for the next several hours and as a punishment, right?
Even
so you got to have timeouts. You got to give them timeouts.
Yeah.
That's literally all you got to do.
Even if it was suspended, and it's like, dude, I mean, like, because then people will be like, well, if they're fired, they can make an arc, and it's like, okay, but like getting rehired, it's like a whole fucking process. It's like, no, suspend them for like a week, and then have them do a week of like that, like civilian role play or shit like that, and it'll be amazing, right? Like. Yeah,
the problem with a lot of cops too is when you get suspended, see you in a week, right? They ain't gonna a lot of cops that aren't like that are more like I'm just gonna do my patrol and they talk like this, right? If they do get in trouble for something, they're just not logging on for a week or 2 weeks, whatever it is. They're not like. That's why you have to force them to role play it in other ways, like go do this booth or go do this or go do that, and you have to do it. And if you don't do it, you're not coming back to active duty, right? It's just to keep things going, man, and make sure people are role playing.
Dude,
Also, are they allowed to use their cop prio when they're suspended?
I don't know.
I don't know. I would say that to Burn's suggestion, but and maybe it's the difference between suspended versus some like, dude, if the option had been Clay, you have to go to AA, I'm like, cool. I now have content for my next 3 streams. That's awesome. I know I'm gonna like. It's like I'm not gonna just not play Clay. It's like now, okay, I'm doing AA with Clay. And
Right.
I'm probably DMing some other role players. Maybe I'm even DMing Burn, who has me. I'm like, yo, Burn, can you make like an Alcoholics Anonymous like hyper Christian like character to like lead like Clay in prayer? But and I don't know, like maybe I'm DMing people who aren't even playing in the server to like help me with this arc, right? I feel like that's the difference between that and then Fire. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess Clay will come back in 5.0.
I just kind of want to comment too on what Chat's saying. Chat is saying that if you get suspended, you have no cop prio. Okay, you can't use that prio. Listen, this goes back to it. Also, the part as if you have trusted people that will properly use the boosting prio and taking prio away, will help the good cops that roleplay get prio more, because there is a lot of cops that will not get prio because there ain't no one really paying much attention to that these days. It's tough for them, which is why we've lost a lot of good cops, because they are forced to only do active duty stuff and they can't not do cop stuff because they just can't get into server sometimes, right? It is a little easier now because the queue isn't like crazy, but still, that's not really the point, right? There is always that good feeling of being rewarded for the positive things you were doing, right? It would make a big difference. But finding those people is tough, right? It's easier said than done, obviously, right? Who can you really trust to give prio to people that are not just going to give it to their friends, right? That's always the worst part about it. But that's just my opinion.
Someone in chat said I could fly in Alcoholics, by the way. I just thought that was funny. Like fly in some drinkers. I'm flying in drinkers. Don't fuck with me.
I think the other thing is too, there used to be more opportunities for stuff like that in 3.0 than there is in 4.0. Because like I'm thinking back to like Tessa and her running the DMV or in like driving school and stuff, and I thought like I loved how good that consequence RP was. Like whenever somebody would lose their license, they would have to go sit through like a lesson. They would have to like prove that they can drive again and stuff. Like that's good content, and it also gives them a consequence for if they like fuck up, if they get too many points on their license, versus just taking something away and then wait X amount of time, you can get it back. Like, we need more stuff like that.
On Mickey, I failed Tessa's driving school 3 times, and I purposely
got arrested every time.
Yeah, I literally it's such good role play and such good content that I purposefully fail it on the character just so I can do it again. Like that's how good it is. Like that's kind of why I'm imagining like if I had Clay doing an AA arc, I'd probably fail it the first time because that's just funnier. Like, and then having to, I don't know, like, I think failure and like those like things not being played optimally is what allows for better stories too. And
yeah, there needs to be a lot of reward like as well for like not only like with the role play though, like it is tough. Like everybody's like having a hard time, like, doing stuff because the grind is pretty bad, right? It just like, I think a higher reward for doing like civ jobs, it should be a thing while keeping it restricted to those that are civs, to give them more money. But like, I remember a one time Coyle was talking about, trying to combat the problem where people make too much money, right? Because like if people make too much money, then they complain like, oh, I have so much money, there's nothing to do now, right? That just goes back to like, time for a big wide server event to destroy the economy. You know what I mean? Every so often. Like that zombie event they did the first time, right? They could do all sorts of big events to destroy the economy so people can it's more of a soft reset. So you don't need, oh, now we need NoPixel 6.0 because everybody has so much stuff and money, right? You don't always need a big update. You just need soft resets. But, with good events, like that would kind of make sense. You know what I mean? That would be really fun for everybody to participate in. Right? Good way to combat it.
I think you even said like some zombie shit happens, or even just like some plague, or even just say the market crashed and all money was devalued, right? Like you could do like
but like if you just do a market crash, so like what you'd want to do though is give an opportunity for a lot of people to get involved in something, right? Because if it's just a market crash, people are gonna be like, oh, right, it's just I just lost everything. Just like that, right? There needs to be like something for everybody to participate in too, though, to actually put a smile on people's faces as it happens, right?
When's the last time you paid taxes in Los Santos?
What's that?
Exactly. IRS. Soft reset. The IRS comes in.
and
all the
dude, and
admins are IRS agents, and it's like freaking FBI. They come in. They're freaking God-moded. And everybody's just terrified. It's like, yes, black SUVs. So like, we're coming here to collect. And
Give us your money.
Oh, God. and they have tow trucks that are indestructible, and they're just repoing everyone's cars.
Yes,
like, no,
dude.
everything that I built towards.
Dude, that would be
so
so
hilarious.
funny. That'd be so funny.
That'd be awesome.
Bert, it's funny they mentioned that.
You get your house repossessed.
Yeah, you get your house repossessed. Everything just gets taken by the IRS.
Oh my God, dude, yes.
There are 2 points on that. My first point is, I don't know if you'd know this, but I used to do this on Mayor Mickey when I was mayor for God knows how long. If someone pissed me off, I would raise the taxes because you had a panel. I was really petty with it. You had like literally a tax panel in 3.0 as mayor, and whenever people like pissed Mickey off, I would just go in there and just raise one of the taxes by 1%, and that's how it's actually. It's why they were okay with me embezzling all of the money out of I basically, for RP reasons, just stole I think it was like 12. Actually, it's like $20 million. I think I stole like $20 million. Just like I properly embezzled it out of the state bank account. But they were okay with it because I also kind of balanced the economy a little bit by just consistently raising taxes all the time on people without people knowing. But yeah, I used to just to be petty. The second point, guys, I wish we had like a better way to signal more serious things. And what I mean by this is, maybe we've talked about it before, but I wish that cops can kind of read the room, read the scene and whatever. But I love what Burn said of like the blacked out SUVs and FIB, right? I would love it if when crimes are going on, there's standard police response. And then just like in GTA, the vanilla game, when you get up to like 4 stars or 5 stars, the FIB, I think it'd be sick if you're at some bank robbery and the FIB shows up in blacked out SUVs. And then all of a sudden it tells everyone in the scene, like, oh, this is a more serious scene. I wish we had just sort of more visual cues for stuff like that. I don't know. You just reminded me of that, Burn.
Then we sit in the military at a 5-star.
Yeah.
Yes. Devs and Zancudo just take off.
No, I actually have loved when they did scramble the fighter jets for for like aerial shit that you did. I love that. Like every now and then, if you were like if you did some crazy shit and you're flying in a helicopter, and then all of a sudden you hear on the fucking radio that like Whiplash 1 is on your tail, and you look behind, there's a fucking fighter jet. That's sick. I don't know. I like that.
What I had this idea in 3.0, like when it was peak, like gangs, like when gangs were like the thing and like they were just unstoppable, and like the Civ stuff really was like downhill. I tried to reach out to get permission to do like a big like to form like a big the civilians take the city back event, like because like it would have been more than 6 people. I was trying to get the clowns to rally like all the civs in the city to come to Grapeseed, and we'd all like stock up on weapons and stuff, and we just go storm all the gang turfs to try to like we're taking the city back. But I got ghosted on it, so it never happened. But I always wanted to see if like that would have been really fun, you know what I mean? But yeah, something like that would have been really cool too, right? Because like gangs are putting all their sprays up all around the city, and like everybody was getting pressed just to be like you're just driving down the street, and the gangs are like, "What are you fucking doing here?" It's just like I'm just going to the hospital. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, it was like at that point where it was really bad. I was trying so hard to see if we could like let all the civs just go to war with all the gangs to try to take the city back. But yeah, they didn't bite on it. But something like that would have been cool too, to kind of like, destroy that. It's another idea you could do to like destroy the economy too. If like gang stuff gets really crazy, just have the civs like just go nuts and fight back. Big events, right? That gets everybody involved.
Big events. So my next question first for you, Burn, and then Chatterbox. We've already discussed a little bit about this, but Burn, now that I have you on, I got to ask you about this. Okay, doesn't like the mechanics of GTA for roleplay. Big Dungeons and Dragons advocate. My question then for you is, what would you? Okay, it probably isn't 2026. Maybe it's like 2027, and the first role play servers for GTA 6 come out. I have no idea if they'll come out then or later. Who knows? When they do, what do you want to see in GTA 6 RP? Like, what would make the game or the world of GTA more compelling for you? Also, while you answer that, I have to grab some coffee.
All right. I'm gonna say strip clubs, baby. Hey, I want strip clubs back. Let's go. Marriage RP. We need to have full family RP. Back in business. People having kids. People having children. They have whole. It's literally just Second Life. Let's freaking bring it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'd want at GTA 6. Probably just more varying mechanics that can enable different avenues of RP that aren't just criminally oriented or cops oriented. But unfortunately, I feel like that's going to be
just basically stuff that we've talked about, right?
Yeah, I feel like just have or just maybe easier avenues for devs to develop things within that game, or sandboxy. I have no idea. But didn't like GTA acquire or Rockstar acquire 5M and stuff? So my fear is they're gonna end up charging like a monthly subscription for people to just use 5M when GTA 6 comes out. They're probably gonna do that. Scary. So not only would you have to pay just to get into 5M servers, but then you'd have to pay if you're paying for Prio or something, or
to play.
Then 5M servers might have to charge people just to be on their servers. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm just scared of the monetization that Rockstar might do with 5M when GTA 6 comes out.
Yeah.
They bought 5M, but I don't think they're using it. Don't they have like their own like thing that they're building? Didn't they like talk about that before?
I don't know.
But when GTA 6 comes out, I figured that 5M they were just gonna close it and then just go to their whatever the hell they're making. Rome, people are saying Rome or something.
That would actually make sense. And then I know that GTA 5 online or whatever, it's heavily monetized, but they can't really monetize 5M. So if they just shut it down and then forced every single server to use their stuff, and then they had their monetization options, that'd be a little scary.
I didn't really think about that.
So you're worried about Rockstar monetization of GTA 6 RP?
Yeah, a little bit. But I feel like GTA 6, the city itself will be a lot of fun. I think there'll be a lot of good hubs. And I feel like with a newer game will come newer and different opportunities that'll make things fresh again. Sure, it'll be in a city. Sure, there's going to be crime and there's going to be cops and robbers RP all the time. But I think there's going to be new like social hubs that can be developed. And I think just having new experiences makes it fun, and having new locations and stuff, because we've been dealing with GTA 5 for so long. I'm almost burnt out with just seeing Los Santos. So just having like a new change of scenery is nice.
Yeah.
I wonder how big the map is going to be on GTA 6. You got all those like people saying, "Oh, it's going to be like this, like that," but like I don't know if there's like an official like how big it's going to be, but if it's bigger than what we have now, oh man, every server is going to have that struggle to try to make sure that you can kind of contain like how you guys were saying, like how you were saying like with you guys were saying with like Red Dead, like the map is really big, right? And it's like things can be really spread out and hard, right? Like that's gonna be another challenge to try to like focus to get like the hubs going and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, Florida's pretty big, so
okay. Not to pretend that I am a game developer, but let's say I pretended to be a game developer one time. What I would encourage anyone making a roleplay server, whether it be Red Dead or GTA 5 or even GTA 6, you literally need to take pen and paper and the map, and you need to draw out characters walking around and like what they're doing in a given day. And then you need to take another pen, and then you need to do that for like what a cop is doing. And you need to take another pen, and you need to actually like chart this out and do this for several kind of designs of your hubs and the maps, because there's the base map, the architecture, which you can't change, but you can change where those hubs are. You can change what areas are open. And it's actually what they did in Breath of the Wild. they did this whole like thought experiment to basically make it so that when you play Breath of the Wild, you're kind of, if you've ever noticed this, Red Dead, the base story of Red Dead is really good at this too. It's why when you play these games, it's like little things almost always happen on your pathway. And I think like people need to do that for roleplay servers. I just don't,
indirect railroad.
yeah, I just don't think people do that. I don't think anyone like literally sits down and looks at the map and like thinks about how do we want players to move around this map. If I was a game dev, that's what I would do.
I also really want to RP as a crocodile. So if the Florida swamplands happen, then or Sasquatch or Swamp Squatch, I think is the Florida variant. That would be sick. I also think any sort of heist revolving around the swamp would be cool. Or just seeing getaways in those. I don't even know what you call those things with the fans, the fan boats.
Oh, dude, that's
skunk ape. That's what
yeah.
that's what it's called. It's called a skunk ape.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, that'd be sick.
I mean,
I just think there's going to be a lot of cool avenues for like getaways and different types of heists. That's a thing that I kind of missed. There was like really hype heists in 3.0. I know that you, Blau, have been cooking some, but I kind of missed that because that brought. I mean, if it boils down to cops and robbers RP, actually developing a heist like that. I mean, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of grunt work if you're getting some of the dev work involved to like create the whole like the casino heist, for example, or whatever. There's like so many moving parts, and there's so many people that were involved, and there was a lot of molding and drama for sure. But in terms of making something interesting, I thought that stuff was really cool.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm trying to do both for this version of, for NoPixel 4.0 and hopefully even in the next version is to do kind of these like almost bespoke like designed heists where it's like, yeah, you have your like base ones where it's like, okay, you got these materials, you can go and rob this bank, but like getting people to rob things that you wouldn't normally get to, like being able to like do a heist inside the humane labs. Like any of the buildings that have interesting interiors are like ripe for like cool things. Like even the cargo ship that you guys did, Chatterbox. Have you ever been on that ship? Right. And like it gotten to explore that. Like it's just like, I don't know. Basically like taking stuff from the base game and putting people there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only time we ever like went on ships like that is like, because like when we run, like when the clowns run from cops, you want to get into a foot chase on like the stupidest places, right? So I used to like 3.0 that ship. We used to run on ships like that all the time just to see if we could like try to get away like by running away on the ship. Like you use it as a jungle gym and stuff like that. But like, other than that, never went. There's nothing ever happening in places like that. So like you setting up that scene there was really cool because never would imagine anybody did anything with that, right? Nothing ever. It's a part of the map. Nothing ever happens in, right? So
I actually think one of the things I sound like some like nerdy architecture map guy. Everyone's gonna think I'm like super deep into cartography after this episode. But to get even more into cartography, the thing I'm most excited about GTA 6 for is hopefully that the map is like, has some islands and has more like sort of interesting geography. Whereas like, and again, we're old. It's late into GTA 5. It's just a giant island with like one little lake in the middle. It's not that like the actual geography just isn't that interesting. So I love the idea of like bridges, little islands. Like even GTA 4's map, I think is a cooler map design than GTA 6 or GTA 5 rather. Just because it's the 3 islands with the like bridges and shit. I don't know. I like that.
Anyways. I like bridges too. I know that's a little controversial, especially several years ago. Bridges were very controversial, but bridges are pretty cool. Gotta be careful when you're crossing them.
Why invited you on? Anyways, we have been yapping for a while. This is we do have a new section, by the way, Burn, of Roleplay Podcast, which you'll be extremely excited. This is the hot takes from chat, which we can either ignore because we don't want to get into the drama. So, someone will spam something that we'll probably just conveniently ignore because we don't want to touch on it. But if you see a hot take from chat or a hot question, whatever it is from chat that you want to touch on, now is the time for the Roleplay Podcast hot takes. So chat gets to ask us spicy questions or just drop a hot take that we can respond to. featuring Burn. So Burn, you will get the honors first. You will get to, grab something spicy.
Come or no come. Obviously got to go with come. It's a great emote, 7TV. Lock it in. It's a good one. Badland chugs, chugging a gallon of milk. It's good stuff. So that's a good hot take, I guess. Actually, is that even? Am I supposed to be actually picking questions here?
Yeah, no. I mean, you're supposed to just grab like anything from the chat. You get to. It's kind of like reacting to chat. It's a mixture of their hot takes or their questions, right? Sometimes they frame it as a take versus a question.
Okay.
Like for instance, Elizabeth Hayes says, "Hot take: I don't mind watching grinding RP." I mean, my reaction that I'll give my brief reaction. I don't think you're really watching role play. I think you're watching that's like watching a Minecraft stream, like someone just like building in Minecraft, which is okay. And it's not like it shouldn't exist, but I don't really think it's RP at that point. It's just gameplay, which is fine. Like I like watching Minecraft gameplay too.
Well, I think when they're grinding, it's a bit more of a second monitor thing sometimes, and also it gives a chance for the streamer to interact with their chat, so maybe they like that, getting some a little sprinkled attention before they have to lock in, because that's an issue that I feel like a lot of RPers can have. Sometimes I'll have as well, is where it's like you get locked in, you just completely neglect a chat. But some of them they don't care about that. But some, they like the interactivity with the streamer, and you don't really get that oftentimes when it's a roleplay streamer.
Yeah, and I not to even like knock on. I think there's like a balance where like let's say it's like early on in the server and someone's role playing or like in the server like 8 to 10 hours. Do I really expect them to be like, banger cinema top tier dialogue for all 8 to 10 hours? It's like, no, there's probably like a little mix of downtime in there where they're just chilling, maybe talking to chat, and maybe it is that they're off boosting or they're off racing or they're just grinding sanitation. That's okay.
I'd say in an RP stream, it's a dozen carton of eggs, and the variety of golden eggs that's in the carton varies day to day. But you're always going to have some regular eggs, but occasionally, and the beauty of RP is you could have a day where you get a dozen of golden eggs. You just have so many good moments that day. And then you have days that just freaking suck, and they're just regular eggs. And that's okay. That's just kind of what happens. You got to roll with the punches, I guess. But I feel like that's what RP is. It's just getting that card and seeing what you get for the day,
Yeah. Damn, that's
Would I go to other servers? I've heard some drama about some servers, so I don't know. I mean, I've experimented with unscripted and a little bit of NoPixel, but I haven't tried Prodigy yet. But I don't know. I've just heard some drama about that one, so I'd rather. I'm not
on every single one, bro.
That's true. There is. I mean,
Every
Purple
single
became unscripted, so I mean, there's drama in that one.
Yeah.
And NoPixel had plenty of drama itself. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think you find a server that facilitates the type of RP style that you like the most. But the beauty of having multiple servers is that it gives you chances to RP with people that you normally don't get to interact with, or it gives you more opportunities to interact with more people, new faces, new people, new characters.
Yeah. It's a win and a lose, right? Because it's always nice to have 3.0 early. Everybody was in one place, right? And it was awesome, right? But having multiple servers is nice as well, right? Because it allows for more people to be spread out and if you want to jump around, like you're saying, you get to meet a lot more people. Because I do jump on Prodigy from time to time, just go nuts and just go do some crazy shit. And you run into people and you're like, holy fuck! Like this time, actually, like really, like there's still a lot of creative people out there, right? But they're just spread out in different places, and it is really nice and refreshing to get to experience that.
Oh,
okay. There's a lot of people retweeting one.
Yeah. Oh, I have. I'll do this one.
Okay, but first, Dimoke said, "Hot take D&D is really cool, and more people should play it." That's not even a hot take. That's just based. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Blau, what was it?
So this hot take comes from Fox and Headlights. They said, hot take, all the AI art on the servers and IC and 5.0 should commission community artists. I don't think that just because you are role playing means that you should substitute, like, just because you're like a step removed doesn't mean that you should substitute the content for AI content. I paid, I think I paid probably around $1,000, if not $2,000 to Rebchan, who did the artwork for, if people remember, My Criminal Academia. I held basically, it was like an anime style, like criminal school. And I paid her to do custom art for all of those characters. And I will pay that again because that was really cool and special to have her art in the server. And I'm not saying we all need to spend $2,000. Like, by the way, I'm not saying everyone needs to spend that money on an artist. Okay. Rebchan's a Netflix level, artist. Okay. You don't have to spend that, but I actually agree. I think more people are okay with doing AI art in role play because they almost feel like it's a step removed. It's also, by the way, it's like a weird take, but it's like a lot of people are more okay doing a lot of other things because it's a step removed. Because now it's not me, the streamer Blau, tweeting out AI art. It's me, the character Mickey, twatting out AI. So I think people are more like, people then get more okay with it.
I also think like it's really like it's not as hard to find artists on server who will do art for you. In 3.0, I spent most of my time doing graphic design for businesses. That's how I made my money in 3.0 as a civ, right? And I know there's people that still do that to this day. And like when I see people like on TwinStep, when I log on, sporadically, but whenever I log on needing art, I always reach out too because I know how hard it is to get art. I know it's not easy, but there's definitely ways you can do it in character, in server, and like give people RP money. You don't have to spend your real money. Like, there's people who will do that kind of design work. And then you don't have to worry about using AI art either. You're giving people a role, you're giving people RP, you're giving people a job. There's just lots of ways you can go about it. It doesn't need to exist on the server, I think it's just people being lazy. So
I actually didn't even know there was AI art in the server, but to be fair, I haven't really been on much. So
someone sent me this is a friend though. I had a friend where I was talking about how I wanted to be the emergency backup goalie for the Los Angeles Kings. Unrelated, right? And they sent me I as my goal, Chatterbox, and I will get there. Give me like 2 years. For the record, by the way, I know it sounds fancy, but to be an emergency backup goalie in the NHL, it actually just means that you have to be the best goalie in the local beer leagues. It's very complicated because you can't be a professional player. Anyways, long story short, my friend sent me a meme of like, it was AI generated of like me as like a bug goalie with like my face. It was actually kind of funny looking, but it was like one of those, I was like, you know what? I'm okay with that. Like if you send memes that are like done from AI, it's like you weren't going to commission an artist for that anyways. And if it's like some dumb meme, I'm more okay with it, especially if it's like person to person. But if, like Demo said, if it's branding, if it's art, graphics, whatever it is for like your business in the server, for other things, like just like also a lot of artists in the server will do it for fake money. Like it's not like you have to pay real money. They'll do it for in-game currency. Like that's like such a weird way to like deny RP to people where it's like you don't pay someone in the game to do it and you just get AI to do it. I don't like that.
Just use MS Paint. It's not hard.
Yeah, or do paint yourself and make it janky and funny. Like,
but you know what's crazy is a lot of the RP community has some very talented artists that make a lot of fan art, and yet people still use AI art. What? You got all this fan art for free, and you're gonna use AI art? That's wild. No. That's crazy. If that's true, you know what I'm saying?
That's an ick.
Yeah,
that's an ick.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I mean, I'm cringe as fuck. I literally, I had Rebchan. I mean, granted, she just does a bunch of shit for me. I literally had her do. She did a piece it was actually for you, Chatterbox, but it's because I was like, yeah, like I'd love to see it. She did one of you and one of your character and Raymond, which
you did it. That Chatterbox art you did. Yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah.
It's like, like you just artists will do this stuff. And by the way, do you want to know one of the craziest things about that is a lot of the art that Rebchan does, even for me and even and she's done it for Demo too. Sometimes she does it and isn't paid. Like you have a like professional Netflix quality artist who will just make. I get a lot of my art of Mickey, and she just sends it because she wanted to draw it. So if you have artists of that caliber who are willing to just do this stuff for free because of the passion, like the least we can do is that when we have a chance to pay them, pay them. Anyways, yeah. So whoever wrote that take, based, pay your artists. All right, next hot take in the chat. Chatterbox, why don't you grab one? See something spicy.
God, I gotta read.
Yeah, you have to read.
That's hard.
Okay, General Pear Tree said, hot take. Breaking some rules should be more acceptable. If people agree to it, you should be allowed to have, for example, a shootout with more than just 6 people for a certain scene if both parties agree to it, or stream snipe / metagame if it would further a scene or creates cinema. Well, I'll have you know, I do agree with that because I believe in role play over real play. But there's a lot of like things you got to be careful with that, right? Because if 2 parties agree to have more than 6 and have like a full out like war, that also will affect the cops that respond to that, and then both gangs are gonna turn onto those cops and just wipe the cops. You always have to like be very mindful of that, because then gangs are just gonna do that all the time and be like, if the cops show up, it's just a free for all on the cops, and then like like I do agree, but that should be limited to specific events, like, and not just a freebie all the time, because that would be things will get out of hand very, very quickly, in my opinion. We did get permission to do that in Grapeseed with the mimes and stuff like that. But specifically in Grapeseed for this arc, because you're not going to war to win something. It's just you're going to war over purely just RP story. You're not winning anything at the end. It's just all story, right? Stuff like that's cool. But if it's more than 6, anywhere you want, can get pretty hairy pretty quick, right? Because yeah, you there has to be, in my opinion, very you have to be pretty limited with stuff like that, right? Because it would get pretty out of hand. You also mentioned stream sniping and metagaming. If it furthers the scene, do what Burn did. Ask permission first. That would probably be fine.
Yeah.
Blau?
No. All of it. I saw Nikita in chat, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like if you message the admins, they'll let you know. Like people do those, like, what you would say are rule, like not even rule breaks, rule bending for certain scenes all the time. And NoPixel admins are actually pretty good about that. So yeah, I think we should go back to 4 for like a lot of standard criminal stuff.
Please no.
Wait, I didn't even know it went to 6. I thought 6 was like gang fights. 4 has like always been for like banks and stuff.
How about that? I wish it was 4. I wish it was 4 for banks, unless it was like the like biggest fucking bank. This is like literally a vibe based thing. I just kind of miss the like vibes of like little groups of 4.
Yeah, rule of 4 for stuff like that's cool, but for like other crimes and stuff like that, having 6 people is so much fun. Like, because with the amount of cops you have, like having 6 people is so much fun. I love the rule of 6. When they put the rule of 6 out, it was, I love it. If they ever go back to rule of 4, well, it'll be fine, but it's not going to be nearly as fun.
The funniest thing is I was one of the people who introduced that back in the day, because we started the meta with it. We started with we started with a 5-man heist back in 3.0, and then it expanded to 6 after that. No, I think it's also probably depends on the type of RP. I feel like what you're doing, you really like 6. I think for me, I'm specifically like, I think. And it's funny because I actually would change it depending on what it is. If it's like small time, like if I'm robbing a store, robbing a laundromat, even robbing a bank, I like 4 bank rob. Like I like just like that aesthetic of 4, and like almost the dialogue in those situations. It just, I think, makes for better RP.
Yeah, I can get behind that too.
I think if you're robbing like a casino, and then I'm like, then I actually want to expand it beyond 6. We hit the casino with 8 people, and it was that made it really cool. And again, that's only like maybe the top tier heist, but it's why like the Oceans, there's Oceans 11, right? Like there was 11 fucking people in that. I think it's cool then when and again, it's not like everyone's in there with guns for necessarily a giant shootout. It's more like, oh, you have people staged at different areas doing different things. I like that. So
yeah.
Yeah,
For mechanical stuff, mechanical crime, that'd be dope, right? But for everything else, let the 6 people have their go. You know what I mean? Because it is, if you're just doing something like not crazy, you have 6 people not just looking to shoot cops or stuff like that, right? Like with the clowns in general, like we like the rule of 6 because it's just more of us to like goof around and do stupid shit, right? Like we're not aiming to go just okay, let's go down this alley and get 6 of us get out and shoot these cops, right? Because we're trying to get away because we have all this money or something like that. It's nothing like that, right? But rule of 4 for mechanical stuff could make it better, like do what you're saying, right? And probably reduce the amount of violence there is because having 6 people with guns ready to fucking shoot is a lot easier than 4.
Someone's gonna shoot, dude. It's the power of the gun in role play.
Gun. I also think that you can always take 4 with 6, though. You know, like if you like 4, then take 4. You don't have to take 6 every time.
Yeah,
Like that choice
yeah.
is yours. Like you could just run 4s. You know what I mean?
But people
That's
are
why I
always
like
going to run 6. You know, generally, if you got 6,
Right.
you run 6.
Yeah,
Guys, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
I don't think I've done a single criminal activity that involved a group of 4 or a group of 6 in maybe a year or a year and a half. So I'm just sitting back and listening.
Do you want to? Do you want to listen, Bird? Do you want to Bird? I kid you not. If you want, listen. I'll say right now. If you want to rob a bank or rob a casino, I'll make it. You make a character, do whatever. I will let you live out the band. I'll let you go rob something. I'll do something for you. You want to do that shit? You want to finally experience what it's like to be a criminal robbing a bank? We'll do it. Say the word.
And you can make it how you make it, bro. You can,
the world is your oyster. Tell me exactly what you want. While you think about whether or not you're gonna do that, I will say, to Dimok's point, it's kind of like it is tough though to go to a group and be like, okay, we're only gonna bring 4. Like I feel like some people maybe then feel left out if you're only like, but I think that's a good point, Dimok. I mean, for instance, a lot of the stuff I've been doing has been bigger groups. Like I think you guys had like 7, right? Chatterbox when you did it.
we had unlimited amount for the distraction and then 7 for the conflict.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one I'm planning though is 4.
Uh-oh.
Pick your favorites.
I don't think I don't even need to say more. It's 4 though. That's it.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. But then the one for Burn is gonna be 40, right? No, listen, the world's your. You
the
want
whole city.
Listen, Burn. If you want to cook up some like I love doing this where it's like even just like cooking up some crazy thing that is different. Like that's something me and Dimok did where like we did one job where they had to steal cars from a car show using a fucking helicopter, and a lot of it was one of the coolest heists we've done because the vast majority of the heist was pure role play. You would have Burned. I genuinely think you would have loved it. It was literally convincing a character to give them keys to the car. And like that, like they were basically role play heisting the cars.
I was there.
Oh wait, you were. Fuck, I forgot about that.
You literally invited me to show up as
This guy, man.
I forgot that you're
Oh,
August
man.
Booze. I forgot that you're August
Yikes,
Booze.
dude.
I'm so dumb.
right.
Burn, have you heard of roleplay?
Yeah.
I'm actually stupid.
Have you done roleplay before?
Guys,
Actually, that takes me to a segment I want to do. Okay, that I planned out because we had Burn today. Okay, so a little producer segment here. Okay, because
I didn't approve of
this
this.
ties in nicely. Blau didn't approve of this, but I'm doing it anyways. Okay, I want the
so
3 of
Brecker's
you.
RP is self-insert. Got it. Go.
Okay. Okay. I want the 3 of you to come up with as many Burn character names as you can. Okay. There's a total of 50 characters listed on his wiki. Okay. 50 Burn characters. Okay. So I need you 3 together. Come up with as many as you can. You have 5 minutes. 5
Well,
minutes.
we know Sasuke.
Sasuke, Johnny
Okay.
Silverhands.
I'll let them cook.
Okay, just keep saying them.
He did Plankton. You know.
What's the character? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
There was like Sonic or Sonic, whatever the one with the grinder mic was. I think
Dude.
I got the name. It's
Sanic Speedrun. Yep, that's it.
Sanic
Okay,
Speedrun.
Sanic.
That's it.
Sanic
That's one of them.
Speedrun. Okay. Joe Goldberg. Okay.
Oh yeah, fuck it. I didn't even think of that one.
What was the one
I'm so bad with this stuff.
What was the one he just mentioned? Like it was like Norman something. That was your first character. 2.0 Norman something.
Didn't pay attention to your guest.
I was listening. I know the first name. I just didn't know
One of the
second
first
name.
characters I ever
Norman?
played and bonded with Nikita. Nikita was one of my saints, my guardian angels of roleplay that taught me everything I know.
Oh, you did a character
Same.
that was the you did a character.
What's the name?
Oh, I looked at chat. I saw it. Oh no, I
There
can't
was
say it.
I knew you guys were gonna look at chat.
But
You did a
I know
guy-
I'm hiding chat. Hold on. They meted that one.
You did a
chat's hidden.
Vin Diesel, didn't you? But it was
Oh, the Family Guy. Yeah.
Din Diesel. Din Diesel. Didn't you do?
Yeah,
like-
Din is one. Din is one.
Yeah,
Din
testicular
counts.
cancer. Sent it off the Mount Chiliad. Yeah,
You-
good times. All for family.
You did Paul Atreides, but like I don't know if it was like actually named Paul Atreides. You were ahead of your time.
I
on
don't
this
know if
one.
I changed his name, but I did do Paul Atreides. Yes.
I watched the stream and I remember, and I'm a huge Dune fan. I remember watching it. It was so good, but I feel like you did it, I think, before Dune 2 came out or like before the hype was there. And you were almost like ahead of your time with that one because people I don't think got like.
I actually
how
don't even
well
think
you
I
did.
watched the movie.
Oh, it was so good because you had that.
You did a
Yep, I did that.
Michael Myers, right? I don't know if you named him that.
Yep.
Was
no, that's
named
one.
Michael Myers. yeah.
Obviously, the Emperor.
Mime Emperor.
Mime Emperor, but
I'm not gonna know the name of it, but the front man for the Squid Game stuff.
Yep.
I feel like we could just count if I got the front man, whatever his name
Sure,
was.
sure.
Okay.
I think
Bro,
someone
I-
made a thirst trap edit of that character. Anyways, continue.
the
You're
during
at 12.
that Joe Goldberg arc, you had the brother
Oh my God, March Foos, August
March
Foos.
Foos.
March
Both-
Foods August Food? Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Both the Fooses.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes left.
Think.
Baron, you want to come in there and help him out?
All right, Burn.
Bat
help
out your
us.
numbers.
What?
How many do you remember? Do you remember all of them?
No, you suck. Karen,
No, you
Barry,
suck, that's right.
text to speech. I did like several different TTSs, so there might be several variants.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Norm Yoder, which we listed, Johnny Silverhand.
Norm, okay. I got
We
Johnny
had,
Silverhand.
I think I made a light Yagami character. Forgot his name. I made Full Meta Alchemist.
What was your cop? What was your cop? The furry.
Rocky Potage. I made Robbie Racket. I made. God, there were so many characters. I made.
Oh, Barry.
Yeah, Barry Backseat. There was.
That's fun.
God, well, there was a medic or a RP check. Raw P check. Raw P check.
Yep.
Asmund Bronze.
Oh, Asmund Bronze was. Oh my God.
End time. End time.
Asmund Bronze
Dang.
was so
I had-
good.
There's Vsauce as well. Kratos. Gordo Ramsey. God, what else was there? Way too many to recount.
Yeah. You guys got 22 out of 50. Pretty good.
We didn't
With
get
the actual ones Burn
half.
said. With the
Listen,
actual
I
ones
only
Burn
started
said,
like last
it's
30
fun.
seconds. Okay, I think I could have cooked at least another 10.
You
or
coulda
15.
cooked.
God.
You
Bro, I
could've
can't
cooked.
believe you've had 50 characters, bro. I've had like 4. Like, holy
Okay, but
shit.
listen, some of those characters had like an hour of shelf life. Okay, like nothing too crazy.
Still creative though. Like, damn.
I'm just an
No.
unk at this point. I'm the unk of RP. I'm not the goat anymore. I'm just the unk.
I think you're still a go.
I'm okay with that.
Still my goat.
Still my go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, that is that's it. We're never doing this again. No, I just can't. Well, we'll obviously have you back on again sometime, Burn, if you're down. But that was awesome. Thank you for coming on Roleplay Podcast.
Yeah, I'm down to clown.
Hey,
Yes.
clown art, let's
Yes.
go.
Oh,
God.
Let's go.
Anyways, guys, this was Roleplay Podcast with Burn. You can find Burn at twitch.tv/Burn. You can also pre-order your Chatterbox plushie today from YouTube's. That's right. Spam the link. What else do we need to? Are you a sponsor interested in sponsoring the Roleplay Podcast? Wondering what it would look like? Well, I put Chatterbox's YouTube's plushie in our carousel right there where your sponsor can be. And I did this specifically not just to help Chatterbox, but also in case you want to sponsor the podcast, and we can put your thing right there. Whoa.
Could a chatter pay for like a promotional posting of themselves? Like, what if they wanted to promote something like a billboard?
Honestly, I'd allow it. Yeah, I'll allow that for sure. We should do that. That'd actually be kind of funny.
Chat section.
You know what?
Also,
We
art
should-
showcase. This is a Roleplay Podcast. Where's the RP art shout outs? You guys are talking about all this, all RP art this, art that.
Oh,
Where
good
art thou?
points.
Well,
I
you
got
see
a lot of-
the overlay.
I know, I
below?
see it's behind Chatterbox, but
Well, the overlay.
Manic Noodles shop, Zips' shop. We got Yuri's shop. We got tons of RP art we got going on here. I can give you guys tons of stuff to put up here. Okay, tons of shops.
The art, and it's actually kind of cool though. The art and branding that we do for Roleplay Podcast. So if you're like watching this stream, you see all the art below. That actually is AI generated. It's pretty cool looking. So
No, it's not. No, it's
Okay,
no,
I'm
it's
not.
gonna
It's
withdraw my
It's not.
co-host status
it's
here.
not. It's not. It's obvious. It's obviously RebChan. Although I've always said this, RebChan has the chance to do the funniest thing, which is she buys just gets a really powerful AI and then trains the AI exclusively on her art, and then produces her own art via AI, and then fixes up wherever it has like 6 toes instead of 5, and then gives it, and it's like, yo, here's your art delivery, and it's like, oh my God, this looks so great. Classic RebChan. This looks amazing. That would be nefarious,
AI
right?
could never pull shit like this off, okay? AI could never pull this shit off. Fuck AI art. I know it's hard to see right now because it's like a reflection, but AI could never do this shit. Like, fuck AI.
RebChan in the
maybe you
chat
should
said
take it out
never.
to dinner first. All right.
RebChan
too much
chat
of-
said
it's a
never
pain
in
in
a
the
million years. RebChat, I just want you to know all of your art that you have delivered to me recently, I go and look for the extra fingers or toes. I did. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Anyways, guys, this has been Roleplay Podcast. We are now back. I also have to do these things. Guys, you should follow us. It's, I think, the Roleplay Podcast on Twitter. Has anyone started? I'm curious. Does anyone call it X still? Or like,
I call it Twitter.
yeah, it's
Twitter.
Twitter's water.
It's Twitter.
I don't use it though, so.
Sometimes I do say twatter, but we are also, the best way to support us is on Roleplay Podcast at YouTube. Once again, twitch.tv/burn, twitch.tv/chatterbox. Yeah, what do we say? See you in the city. Wait, see you in
Thanks
the
for
city.
having me. Thanks for having me.
Oh, right. Thanks.
Demoke, great production work.
Oh,
Great
thank you.
questions. Great input.
Thank you.
Great podcast. Great design. Great questions. Great answers. Great chat.
Sorry, I made that.
All right, I take everything I said
What was
back.
that?
What was that? What are we back to freaking
Glaze
are we
alert, okay?
some
Like,
stuff
glaze
fresh and
alert.
fit? What are all these different sound effects? That's what's missing to make it a real podcast. You got to have the producer type doing random like sound bits.
I can do
Anyways,
that.
and shout out Creative Chrissy for the plushie order acquired. There you go.
Dang,
Beautiful.
nice.
Thank you guys so much. Fuck, I never. What do we say to end, Chatterbox?
See you in the
Bye.
city.
Yeah, see you in the city.
See you in the city.
See you in the city.